Okay, guys, I am back here alive again, alive and live, and super excited to be doing this live stream here. There is a big shift happening for me where one of the things I'm going to talk about is like you have to know what you know. And this is me knowing what I know that is really coming through from a very, very different place in me. So before I go into it, I'm just going to wait here for a few minutes to see if anybody joins me. Yeah, one person is here. Say hello so I can see who you are. See that the comments are working. 2 people. Awesome. Just give it a few more minutes or 1 minute. Yeah. So I am excited about today's live stream too. It's like the live stream I did about how to expand your money field. Hi, Cordelia. And also this one today, it's like things I have known about how to increase your income and build your business success. And yet it has mostly been, I don't know, like subconscious, hi Sika, or just out of reach. Even if I've known it and lived by it, hi Johanna, it's been sort of out of reach. So Sika and Johanna, you're definitely going to know this information already, but I want to put it in a different perspective. So I'm going to talk about the shadow and light archetypes. So I don't know if you want to hang around, but I'm going to put it in the perspective of the energetics of money overflow, which is what we all want. So, and the information here is like, it really, 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 really matters, because when push comes to shove, bottom line is, it is not just about making more money. It's about having a phenomenal, magnificent life that, give you constant joy and euphoria. So this is about how you can end all struggles in all areas of your life. And it's the same as the energetics of the money overflow, because it's also love overflow, and it's health overflow, and it's like freedom overflow, and it's power overflow, and it's self-love overflow, and it's magic overflow. So it's like all these kind of overflows that's come out of it. So the whole premise is based, like to kind of like set the context of the energetics of money overflow. I want you to take a journey back into the history of mankind, all the way back to the dawn of human evolution. And if you think about life back then, it was like life was scary. People were prey to a lot of scary predators. And life was very much about just surviving from day to day to day to day. And in order to increase the chances of surviving, because life wants to survive, it's one of these, what do you call it? Imperatives of life, especially like animal life, because we're basically animals with a consciousness. It's like our animal body wants to survive. Our most primitive programming, or let's just talk about it as a consciousness operating system, is all about surviving, because in order for life to propagate, we have to live long enough that we can create more human beings. So there is a strong biological imperative to survive no matter what the cost. And so way back at the dawn of human life, it was like about coming together, because together we were more powerful and we were more able to defend ourselves against the predators of that time, which were like cave bears and saber-toothed tigers and dire wolves and whatnot. I don't even know that, but there's like some scary, scary, scary animals around. And your chances of survival increased when you were in a tribe. So our very first, and I want to call it operating system because it really, really works well as a concept. So our very first human operating system was all about surviving. So all our feelings, all our thoughts, all our beliefs were all geared toward surviving. And out of our beliefs and our thoughts and our feelings, of course, come our behavior, our choices and our decisions, and even our desires and dreams. They all come out of the same operating system. You can think of an operating system as a paradigm, where a paradigm is how you understand the world. And the way you understand the world, your understanding of the world, then forms the base of all your beliefs and actions and choices and thoughts and feelings. And the operating system is the same, right? It's a paradigm. So the paradigm of your survival consciousness is all about surviving. So everything in life is experienced something that has to do with surviving. So everything you live through and everything that happens to you and all your thoughts and feelings and beliefs and whatever, it's all through the filter of what will it take for me to survive. Now, surviving, the reason why I'm saying this is because surviving has nothing to do with thriving, which is what I'm talking about with the money overflow and love overflow and health overflow and freedom overflow and adventure overflow and, all kinds of good overflows, because that's all about abundance, which is thriving, compared to surviving. So to really get to experience this money overflow, along with all the other overflows, because there are people who are just okay with making a lot of money, or maybe they are not okay, but they have a lot of money, but the rest of their life sucks. I don't know if you know those people. I know a lot of people. They exist in the world. It's like they're coaches that specifically target those people who have a lot of money, but they are depressed, they are burned out, they are miserable, they are depressed, they are anxious, they are on medication, they are workaholics, It's like, that's not overflow. You might have a lot of money, but that's not money overflow, because the overflow, the reason why I use money overflow is because it's like bubbling over, like with this joy and euphoria and happiness in it. That's what money overflow is. It's like, it gives you joy, it gives you happiness, it gives you euphoria. So it is hard to be happy about your money, even if you have a lot of it, when the rest of your life sucks, because then you just have a lot of money. It's not money overflow. Okay? So what you need to do, because it's like you almost have to, not almost, you have to uninstall the programming in your consciousness that's all focused on survival. And you have to install another consciousness that is all about, that understands everything in the world, like a new paradigm. You have to install a new paradigm. You have to have a paradigm shift. That's all about thriving and overflow and abundance of all the best things in life. So there is a very, very, very special tool or method for actually uninstalling the survival consciousness operating system and installing the thriving consciousness system. And it is an exquisitely fine tool that is very simple in its concept and very difficult to execute. So it takes a willingness. It's like you have to live it, not just know about it. It has to become your life. And I tell you, it's like it changes everything. It changes everything, because suddenly, whether you have a lot of money or not, life is great. Whether you have health or not, life is great. Whether you have a lot of love, life is great. You know, it's like whatever it is, whether you have a lot of freedom, which I have very little freedom here. I'm my 7th, going into my 8th week of lockdown here, where I've only been allowed to leave my apartment to go shopping for food. So I don't have freedom, and that doesn't change anything. It's like total overflow of all the great things in life. So survival consciousness is going to do for you. Let me see if I can get a better connection here. What the survival consciousness is going to do for you, it is going to tell you that being different from the tribe is going to be a danger to the life. So it's like, and what I mean being different from the tribe, meaning like if you are not normal, if you dare to speak the truth that penetrates all the denials and illusions, if you dare to stand in your full power, if you dare to put yourself first, if you dare to say no and have boundaries, if you dare to not feel sorry for people who have a hard time, it's like you're risking in your operating system that only understands surviving at all costs, you're going to risk being kicked out. And being kicked out of the tribe, in our most primitive brain, is risking death. So when people talk about how, in order to build a successful business, they just had to be willing to risk everybody else's approval. That it's like they had to put themselves out there, even if nobody would approve of them, even if they would offend people, even if nobody would ever love them anymore. Because all these things, like the sense you want to belong, and you don't want to feel like a failure, or you don't want risk feeling foolish. It's like people's judgment matters immensely when you're in your surviving operating system. Because if people's judgment doesn't come out in favor of you, you're kicked out of the tribe and you're not going to survive. So what you want to do, it's like there's a whole bunch of things here, but I'm gonna try to sort through them and untangle this little by little. So one of the ways that this shows up is like being proper, being appropriate. It's like when you put a marketing post out there, it can't be too confrontative, it can't be too bold, it can't be too preposterous, it can't be too audacious. It's like it can't be too offensive. It's like there is a certain box of where you can express your truth with modifications in, so that you get people's approval. It's like still proper, so you can push the limits of what's proper, that you believe will make people pay attention to you, but still not kick you out of the tribe. And your job is like to cross the line, because when you cross the line of what's proper is when you say, me and my life and how I want to live it matters more than other people's approval. And this is kind of like the first step you have to take if you want to tap into the energetics of money overflow. It's like, stop letting fear of other people's approval matter. And how do you do that? You do that by just putting yourself out there in your full truth. And you can be absolutely terrified before you do it. Still do it, and do it, and do it, and do it, and speak your full truth. So, and then, some people are not going to like it, some other people are going to like it. Who cares anyway? There's 7 billion people on the planet. You don't need everybody to like you. And the great thing is, if you do it on Facebook, the people who don't like it, you can just unfriend them and block them. Okay? So you're actually in control of that. You don't have to surround yourself with people who don't like your truth. And I want to come back, because this is Facebook, this is a Facebook group, and I built my business through Facebook. And sometimes I feel I live my life on Facebook. But on Facebook, you are not the victim of anybody. It's like you can unfriend people, I think up to 1,000 a day if you want to, but you can unfriend people if they are not people who like what you're saying, because why in the world should you have in your community on Facebook people who take offense at what you're saying or can't handle the truth or, have a problem with what you're saying? It's like your choice. You have the power of choice there, and you have the power of taking action on them, on your choice. So the other part here is that the energetics of money overflow requires you to not shrink yourself. Like, don't make yourself small. Take a stand for yourself. Like, let yourself be as big as you really are, no matter what other people are going to think, because it doesn't matter what other people are thinking. It's like you want to make sure that, how do I say this? Okay, think about the difference between a princess and a queen. The princess is a child, right? And she is looking for other people's approval, and she is like the fairy tale damsel in distress, or the reward for other people's fights. Now the queen is the one who is in charge and is the boss and decides what happens. And I'm not talking queen as an evil queen, a good queen here, but just as the queen is the commander, is the one in command, is the one in charge, and it's not a democracy. So when you change, it's like you want to change from the princess, because the princess is the survival operating system in action, because a princess needs approval and needs to be rescued and needs to be given things to. A queen goes in and says, this is what I want, and this is what I decide what's going to happen, because I'm in charge. And I know I'm in charge, and I have the power to make things happen. This is what it means to be a queen. So a queen, like a sovereign, I love the word sovereignty. It's like basically a queen. So a queen knows she commands life. She knows she commands her life. And she knows she can create whatever life she wants, because she's the ultimate ruler of her life. She's the only one in charge. She's the one who has all the power. Now, this is important. She's the one who has all the power in her life. She's not giving any power away to anybody whatsoever. And she knows, and this is the important part, because now we go into the energetics of money overflow. It's like she knows she can create magic. So when people talk about the law of attraction, it's like believe, feel, believe, have positive beliefs, have positive feelings, have positive thoughts. And I know people who have worked like for years, like totally, completely following the law of attraction with absolutely no results, because they never stepped out of their survival operating system and into the thriving one. Because once you're in the thriving operating system, you decide what you're going to have. And you have the power to make it come true. And you know that you won't hesitate to take the actions. And that's what magically manifests, not just as money overflow, but as love overflow and health overflow and freedom overflow and adventure overflow and mysticism overflow and all kinds of, beautiful overflows. Free time overflow. How is that? This is where it comes. So the energetics of money overflow is the energetics of, rather than letting something or somebody out there have power over you to decide what you're going to do in your life, you pull it all back in here. You put it all back in here, because that's where you finally take charge of your life the whole way. And this is where you take full responsibility for creating your business success. And I have talked about it before, where you can't just wish for it or have a dream. It's like there has to be like a bone deep commitment to making this happen, and then taking full responsibility in, I will do whatever it takes, which doesn't mean anything bad. It's all positive, but it means that you do have to do things that might be outside your comfort zone, because this is where the magic lies. So your comfort zone has everything in it that you're comfortable with in your life, and the amount of money, the money overflow, is outside your comfort zone, because if you're already comfortable with it, it will be inside your comfort zone, right? So you have to step outside your comfort zone over and over and over and over again in order to create have the money overflow. Now, there is a different part of the surviving operating system that comes out as I deserve to, which is a different way of saying I am entitled to, which means that I want something for nothing. This is very much like how a child perceives the world, right? Because the child is entitled to being taken care of. A child is entitled to something for nothing. And when you're in that operating system, because when you're in one part of it, you're in all parts of it, right? It's like you become a passive liver of your life. It's like you take on the passive role of waiting for things to happen. Oh, if somebody just gives it to you, or if somebody just gives you the magic pill, or if somebody takes responsibility for your dream, or if somebody gives you permission, or if somebody gives their approval, or if somebody says, go and do that, you're not going to look foolish. It's like, yeah, you can wait forever for your money overflow, because it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's like money overflow. Okay, so let me scroll back a little bit and go back to the two different operating systems. So the operating system of the survival consciousness is called shadow. The energetics are shadow. So this is a world of light we live in. We live in a world of light. And human beings are all about taking an idea and activating the energy, and then transforming that energy to matter. This is what human life is all about, which is what we're here to learn. And this is the ultimate result of our spiritual journey, is to be able to, like a god, right? Enlightenment and spirituality is all about becoming as godlike as we can, still as human. So it's about having an idea, activating the energy by saying this is what's going to happen, and then turning it in with our actions, because our actions moves energy in space, turning it into physical form. Okay, this is what gods do. It's like the whole thing about not having any desires and not wanting things is like a very strange thing, because how do you think God created Earth? Oh, I want this, and I want this, and I want this, and I want this, and I want this. It's like nothing but desires. Hi, Alexandra. It's like nothing but desires that God had and said, okay, this is a great idea. Let me activate the energy and change it into a physical form. Right. So this is part of the thriving operating system when you learn that. And for Alexandra, if you're right here, I'm talking shadow and light. So the energy, so this is a world of light. And our purpose here is our spiritual evolution. Now, when we're in our surviving consciousness, it's called being in shadow. It's like all this, what are other people going to think about me? Poor me, I don't have the power. Am I allowed to? I don't deserve it. These are all shadow consciousness. And shadow means the light is dimmed, right? There's something, it's a dimmed light. So the shadow, the energy of your surviving consciousness is very dense and it's very low vibration. And gods who can turn energy into matter can have a thought that becomes energy that then turns into matter. They don't have low vibration energy. They don't have dense energy. Like a god has the highest possible frequency of energy and has like light, bright, shining, sparkling light. And when you are in your surviving operating system, your energy is, dense and low vibration. And it's almost impossible, it's not completely impossible, but it's almost impossible to have an idea, activate the energy, and turn it into a physical manifestation like money overflow when you're in your shadow. Not impossible, but, well, let me say, you can create a lot of money, but it's not money overflow in this way. It's like a joyful experience. It's just, yeah, I have a lot of money, so what? I buy a sofa and then I bought the sofa and then it's just sitting there. It's like there's the joy lacking when you create money from shadow. And I have often said that the purpose of life is joy. It's like the whole purpose of life is joy. Like God feels joy at his creations. God and spiritual enlightenment, which is about coming godlike, it's not about, like feeling nothing. I mean, God goes around and creates and creates and creates because it's a joyful experience to God, or I assume it is. What's otherwise is the point of creating and of manifesting. So manifestation, learning to have an idea, activate the energy, and bring it into manifestation through your own power, through being completely and utterly, authentically, truthfully the ruler of your life, who creates magic, who is the one who converts an idea to activating the energy to manifest it as a physical matter. That's one of the most euphoric experiences ever, because it feels magical. It feels mind-blowingly wonderful. Okay? And this is how you create money overflow and love overflow and health overflow and freedom of time overflow and adventure overflow and all kinds of good things overflow. It's like, what do you desire? What is it that you desire? And in your surviving operating system, there's like shadow and low dense and whatever, you can't even allow yourself to be honest with yourself about what you desire. Because if you know that, you might have to act on it, and that's going to risk the tribe's approval. I mean, this is how the survival operating system functions. All it does is like hold you back and hold you back and hold you back and keep you small and keep you exactly like everybody else. So to me, for many, many years, the worst possible life I can imagine for myself is normal life. Because I don't want to be normal. Normal is boring. Normal is something I have done a million times before. I want money overflow. I want love overflow. I want health overflow. I want freedom overflow. And I want freedom of time overflow. And I have all of that. because I put in the hard work of changing operating systems. I started a year ago when I first came across this tool. It's called Shadow Alchemy, by the way. And I totally take all my clients to this because I want an end to all their struggles. Because, yes, I'm a business coach, right? So I help them with the business. But their business is not just about making a lot of money, because if they are, they wouldn't even come into my sphere, because I'm all about personal transformation as the way to make a lot of money. So with all my clients, it's about upgrading their operating system, upgrading their consciousness operating system from surviving to thriving. Because when you get there, there's just no more struggles. It's just done. It's just done. It's like all the misery and hardship and lack and what other people are going to think and all these things that keep you playing small and pretend you're normal when you know you have something big inside of you that needs to be shared with the world. It's like you want to become a person who can take an idea, activate the energy, and manifest it into physical matter, like a lot of money or like something else, like anything else, right? Doesn't matter if it's like, like your soulmate, the man of your dreams, the woman of your dreams. A travel to Egypt, a travel to Florence, Italy, where you live. I would love to see you here. Anything. It's all the same thing. It's like, and that's where, like thriving is abundance, is overflow of all the most wonderful things in life. And that's where you need to get to. And this is why, as part of all the business coaching I do, it's like there has to be this uninstalling of the survival operating system, because it's always, always, always going to hold you back. It's always going to hold you back. And you want to take it out and install the overflow operating system, the overflow of joy operating system, so that life is just in its whole beautiful. And there's a saying, it's like how it is in one area of life is how it is in all areas of your life, which is because you have either one or the other of consciousness operating systems. Either you have one of survival or you have one of thriving, of overflow of joy. And if you are in this was the one, surviving operating system, you're always going to be in it in all areas of life. You might get a little break here and there, to give you a taste of what's possible. But the work, your challenge as a spiritual being on a human journey is to uninstall that surviving operating system and install one that is thriving, which is your birthright, which is what life on earth is meant to be. Because that whole surviving operating system, it's outdated in this day and age. There are no dire wolves or saber-toothed tigers or cave bears outside your door anymore. So it's totally outdated. And the work that needs to be done now, which as a side effect has a money overflow. And this is what I love about it, because money overflow is a side effect, because it's all about, unlocking all your potential inside of you. And there's this very specific tool that's called Shadow Alchemy that some of you know, that I use with all my clients. So, yeah, I don't see any questions. I know that most of you already know that, but I wanted to put it into a different perspective. So let me see if there was else. So money, yeah, there's one more piece here, because money is energy, but money is high vibration energy. It's not low vibration energy, which is why when you're in the surviving operating system, it's so hard to get money because there's an energetic mismatch. So you want to change your energy by switching operating system into one where you meet the energy of money, in the high frequency it has, where it's so much easier to actually bring it into physical matter. And joy is one of the highest vibration states of being that you can have. Love and joy. Love and joy. Here's my finger in this camera. Love and joy are the two highest one. So Jamie says, can you give an example of shadow alchemy on working with a client? I can actually give one for yourself from myself that just came up recently. So I had this shadow alchemy thought, this shadow thought that I don't have the power to create money. So this is a very common business shadow around money, that because your clients are customers, they hold the money, they also have the power over money. Or in the Christian, many religious teachings, it's like God holds the power over money. It's like something, a higher being. So, the universe provides is an example of that. Or, I just have to surrender to spirit or surrender to God, and then God will give me everything I want. So it's like that's a way of placing the power to create money, to bring money into your life outside yourself. So I believed I didn't have the power to make money. That was my shadow. And I realized one day, I was like, wow, that's such bullshit. It's like somebody has an invested interest in making me believe I don't have the power to make money, because that way they can keep power over me. So it's like, and that somebody who had programmed it into me was probably myself in order to survive. So I had to okay, I better pretend I don't have to have the power to make money, so that I can make sure I'm not kicked out of the tribe, so that I'm alone out in the scary world where I might die. So this was a very, very difficult one to pull in, because no, facts is that my clients have the money in the hand and they decide whether they want to give it to me. So no, I don't have the power to make money, but I do. It's like my power, because this is my life and I create everything in my life. I create my whole reality. There's no part of my reality that I haven't created myself. So if that's true, then I do have the power to create money. And while I cannot snap my fingers and have a lot of money to come out, of my hand, I do have the power to create my clients. That's through my marketing, through making sure that my energy is very, very clean. It's not in shadow, because high vibration, get out of the survival operating system and get into the thriving operating system, where my energy is much higher. So I can manifest much faster with much less effort, like a whole lot less effort, and in numbers I haven't been able to do before. So what I realized, I had to run it, through sort of a circuitous route. But yeah, it's like I actually have the power to create my clients, and I have the power to make those clients pay me to help them. So in that way, I have the power to create money. Now, here's another example, Jamie. So in January of this year, I decided I want to challenge myself to, can I create 20,000 in cash this month? And I just decided, this is what I want. This is what I want. I was like far beyond anything I had ever created before. Like I have had several 10,000 months, but 20,000, I was like suddenly doubling my income, like my cash income, not just my sales. And I just decided, I made sure I was in my thriving operating system, like there is a time period as you move from one to the other. And I commanded, because that's my God given power to turn energy into matter, I commanded that 20,000 cash was going to be in my life in the month of January. And like half of it showed up within the first week of January. So, yeah, great, I'm on my way. And then nothing happened. And then nothing happened. And then nothing happened. And then nothing happened. And I was still, no, this is my life. There's going to be 20,000 in cash this month. And I don't know how they're going to come, because magic, if I try to figure it out, because this is part of the survival operating system too, is you're trying to figure out how to get the money. And figuring out is based on the fear that if you can't figure it out, it's not going to happen, right? And it's like kind of with the figuring out, you're trying to force the future into how you think it should be. And you can't control the future. The future is uncontrollable always. But you can have a very, very, very clear desire and willingness to do whatever it takes. And that's what's going to convert energy into matter. So anyway, back to my story in January. So I knew this, and I did not allow myself going in, trying to figure out, so how am I going to get the rest of my 20,000? And I was like, there's nothing happening and nothing happening and nothing happened until like 3 days before the end of the month, the money came in. And I wasn't worried. I was like, sure, yeah, I may fail. What doesn't matter? I made 10,000 this month. Oh, that was great, phenomenal. And it's even better with 10,000 more, because I love having a lot of money. It gives me joy, right? Joy is very high frequency. And I just kept holding it and holding it and holding it and holding it. And I did, it came sort of out of nowhere. Like a lot of times, it's like, that when you have a goal and you're trying to fill a program and you have, okay, I want 20 people in the program. And some of those people, they are obvious, but some of the people that join your program, they come out of nowhere, right? This is how you take the idea of wanting to do a program, you activate the energy to make it happen. And then by consistently holding, this is my desire, this is what will happen. And I know I have the power to make it happen. And I'm going to trust that it will happen. I will trust that I can create it, because this is about trusting yourself also, right? Trusting that you can create it. Then people magically show up out of nowhere. This is how it works. And so if you can feel one program, why can't you fill 2 programs or 3 programs? And if you can fill a program for 1,000, with the price of 1,000 per person, why can't you fill a program for 10,000 per person? It's the exactly same process. And the only thing that's different is you expand your money field, which is, getting even more into your operating, your thriving or overflow of joy operating system, and raising your standards, as I talked about. So raising your standards, raising your standards, raising your standards, raising your standards. Okay, so I hope this worked. It's like we have all had experienced how manifestation truly works. And it always starts with a decision. This is what I want. And there's no doubt. You just know you have the power to create that. And you do. And just keep at it and at it and at it. And if it doesn't happen right now, so you failed. It's not like a big drama, right? Because you're so focused on this one, and there might be a few setbacks, but you keep on. And it's like mostly just completely unemotional. You just want it. You just want it because you want it. And you want to have that in your life. And this is how all manifestation matters. And this is the energetics of money overflow. This is exactly it. What do you want? Just because you want it. And then you make it happen. With the whole switching operating systems on whatever. So yeah, I think this is it for now. I have an idea of another Facebook Live, so that might come in a day or two. I still have spots available for one-on-one coaching. Jamie, it works exactly the same. I have cured myself of 2 incurable diseases. I have a background, I used to have a school of natural medicine. And during that time, I cured myself of 2 incurable diseases. The same thing, I decided I was going to cure them. I was not willing to settle for anything less. And I did what I needed to do, and I did. And this is how everybody else cure the incurable diseases. And, it's like I was really looking into a lot of research about this, like, why are there miracle cures? And if I remember correctly, those people who have experienced miracle cures was because they decided they were not willing to give up and just accept defeat. It's like they rose to the occasion and decided, this is what I want. I want to overcome my illness. And I know people who have cures for them. And it's the same thing. They have, like, they step in and say, this is what will happen. Hey, Kelly, no? So it's exactly the same process. It's like you want to have an overflow of health, which is, again, a given when you're in the thriving operating system. Because illness is part of not owning your power. It's like a little bit more complicated than that. And I think I will talk about all this in the next live stream. It's about the warrior energy that you need to create a successful business. But yeah, I think I'm done for now. It feels complete. So I will let you know when I'm going on again. It might be on Monday, it might be on Tuesday, I don't know. I'll have to see what my intuition guides me to. If you have any more questions, just keep asking and keep asking and keep asking. I love answering questions. And your asking brings more information through. Okay? See you around.